will ever be made.
My wedding pictures look like.
I don't think there are any pictures from your wedding that will ever be made public.
I had some clothes on, I think. We're underway here at the Lahaina Civic Center. Cash.
And check this out here.
Pull the lever. Ring the bell. Let's go.
Anthony Edwards defending Cassius Winston.
Well, I love the big guy in the lineup, Marcus Bingham.
Yeah, that's a change for Tom Izzo, but talking with Tom Crean before the game.
Nice. Throw it down, big man. Oh,
missed the dunk. But talking with Tom Crean before the game, he really wants to challenge Anthony Edwards by having him defend Winston. Edwards lost the ball there. It was touched last by the Spartans.
We have a great refereeing crew here today. We survived the injuries of yesterday. Vern Harris kicked in the eye. Mike, he rolled his ankle. And then Tim, we didn't see him yesterday, but he's from the ACC. They play basketball there, right? That's not the Conference of Champions, but they do have some good teams.
You think? Mike Cyphers is the guy you were talking about who rolled his ankle, but both he and Vern said they're good to go as both teams get off to a slow start here. A foul is called on Rayshawn Hammonds. Georgia last year.
Slow start. Why so negative? Look, we're alive and we're in Maui.
Just documenting the game.
There's 40 seconds into the game, please.
Well, yeah, but
what time did you wake up this morning?
3.
No, I was right there with you. I woke up on a lava bed.
I woke up in a panic thinking we had 2 games this morning after working with you 2 games last night and then 2 games tomorrow.
Why are you afraid? Please, can't you just embrace this incredible opportunity? Isn't that what Mike Young, the brilliant coach for Virginia Tech, told us at practice the other day? And why he left Wofford after 30 years to go to Virginia Tech? He said, challenge and opportunity. Please, embrace the moment.
It's also a much better job, so that's another reason why he took it. Anthony Edwards got the foul, his first. I was talking with Coach Crean about Anthony Edwards, and we're trying to talk about potential comparisons, right? Everybody wants to know, and he coached Dwayne Wade and sent it to the Oladipo as well. Victor Oladipo in Indiana, but he thinks that if Edwards can learn to attack more offensively.
So in other words, you want him to shoot more.
Well, Edwards reminds him and a lot of people of D. Wade because of his size.
How about Mitch Richmond, who put on one of the great shooting performances ever here?
Well, Crean didn't coach Mitch Richmond. That's why we were talking about Dwayne Wade, because that's the guy that Crean actually coached.
Well, I've coached Mitch Richmond in a horse game right here at Maui. Just outside the gym here.
Here's Edwards on the drive. Can't get the floater. Rebounded by Bingham.
Hey, this guy Bingham is playing like Kevin Garnett.
He gained 30 pounds in the offseason. That's Winston driving, missed the bucket. Hammonds will slow it down, and now Edwards giving up the ball to Gresham. His 3 not there. Offensive rebound, though, by Hammonds. And Georgia finally on the board as Gresham gets the basket. They get 3 opportunities on that possession.
2 big, strong, physical teams head-to-head. Depth, physical fitness, competitive fire, resiliency, all the things you look for in champion young men coming to Maui, sacrificing themselves, coming in off the beach. Whoa.
Nice play by Aaron Henry, sophomore from Indianapolis, who had 18 points against Virginia Tech yesterday in that loss. Michigan State lost to Kentucky, and Virginia Tech 3-2. They were #1 preseason in the AP poll for the first time ever. 3 goes for Hammonds.
Rayshawn Hammonds, a big junior from Norcross, Georgia. Have you been there?
Yes.
Nice left hand. They got 5 left-handers on their team. What's the record for the most number of left-handed players on a team in the Maui gym?
Ooh, Edwards with a nice block on Winston.
I prefer blocks that they're kept in bounds.
That's tough, though. He's going away from him. I mean, what is he supposed to do here with the left hand?
When you step right in like that, Xavier Tillman's got to be a little up more on the closeout defensive pressure. Did you ever see Bill Russell play? No, you didn't. You're not old enough. Were you at Bill Russell's Hall of Fame ceremony the other day.
So, Bill, tell me here how, on that right there, how does he not block it?
Bring it back. Bring it back. They're coming to you with that ball. You, as a shot blocker, you do all your work before the guy shoots it. And then you just keep it inbounds, and your guys are coming in behind you because they know you're going to get that ball. That's called team basketball. You ever been on a team?
That was a 2 by Henry, so he's got all 5 points for Michigan State. Backdoor Edwards goes to the left hand, and he was fouled. First foul on Michigan State.
So Anthony Edwards, he was given a nickname of Ant early on in his life.
Ant-Man, yeah.
Yeah. There's more than 12,000 species of ants. How do we know which one Anthony is? Some ants live as long as 30 years. Ants can carry 50 times their own body weight. How much weight are you carrying?
Well, Edwards is a person, and he's from Atlanta. He was raised basically by his older brother and sister. Anthony's 18. His siblings are only 5 years older than him, and they basically raised him. Anthony, talking to one of the assistants with Georgia, said he's one of the nicest kids he's ever coached.
What's the holdup here?
Not sure. I don't know if it was a timing issue or...
Have you ever called a Georgia game before?
So Anthony Edwards ranked number 4 in the ESPN 100. Paul Biancardi does a great job of that. The highest rated recruit in Georgia history. Prior to that was...
Higher than Dominique Wilkins?
And prior to that, you had Contavious Caldwell-Pope and Lou Williams. We'll just think about basically the modern era of recruiting.
Dominique is still alive. Here, let me call him.
You, go ahead, call him. Text him right now.
Talk to Dominique while I watch the game here. Beautiful play. Oh, my gosh.
Hammonds with the layup.
I love the Maui Jim. One of the great things here, turnover here in transition.
That was
for
Gresham.
The Bulldogs. That's an offensive foul. Please. Now, even you have to call that an offensive foul.
That's 2 on Hammonds.
What's great about the Maui Jim are these fans. I mean, they're so disappointed. Block shot, keeping it in bounds. Push the ball up the floor. Get the ball to a finisher. Wow. Rayshawn Hammonds. This guy is superb.
But he just picked up a second foul. He's going to the bench.
So leave him in there. What do you got to lose? It's the consolation bracket.
Yeah, it's still a big game. The committee at the end of the year is going to look at these games individually, Bill. They're not going to necessarily look at what round of the Maui Invitational it was, as Cassius Winston gets his first points along 2.
I can't believe we're on day 2 of the Maui Gym, and you're talking about the committee. My gosh. Well, these up in the fictional narrative, please.
These games are evaluated maybe even on a higher level than games in conference play.
Sean Miller said it best. Sean Miller, the excellent coach for the Wildcats in the Conference of Champions, that the non-conference games are more important than the conference games, which is ridiculous.
Well, it's a reality.
But it's true.
Yeah, well, you said it was fictional. Nice move with the left hand by Xavier Tillman.
I'm saying your narratives are fictional.
Tied at 9, 4.5 minutes in.
And I wish you would come out and enjoy how beautiful Maui is instead of sitting there memorizing your three-point shooting percentages.
Anthony Edwards on the year, 29% from 3. This one rattles around and won't fall.
I don't know why they took Bingham out. He was playing superb. Great pass.
That was Winston with the dish and Tillman with the bucket.
You ever played with a good guard like that who can really deliver the ball and not fancy but just smooth as can be? The oil to the machine.
Who was the best one you played with?
Well, I played with the best. Greg Lee at college, Lionel Hollins, Johnny Davis, Dave Twardzik in Portland, Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, although Danny liked to ball fake a lot. And then just say, go get it off the glass.
I know Larry Bird wasn't a guard, but have you ever played with a better passer than Bird?
I played with Jamal Wilkes, Bob Gross, and Larry Bird at that small forward position. All of them phenomenal. Larry Bird was the best player I ever played with.
Here's Crump for 3 off the mark. Georgia 1 of 6 from three-point line.
And Larry was an even better person than he was a player.
Here's Winston. Great pass to Tillman. Tillman missed it, though.
he was not ready. They thought that wraparound was going to the right wing.
And Winston with the floater, his second bucket. 8-0 Michigan State run.
Are you old enough to know who Dick Barnett is? He's still alive, too.
Well, you just pronounced Larry Bird dead a second ago.
No, I misspoke, and I corrected it.
Great hesitation by Edwards. Misses a three, though, again. He is 0 for 3 from the floor, 0 for 2 from three-point land.
He looks intent on shooting.
Henry with a good look. Can't knock it down. Offensive rebound by Brown. Puts it right back up. Azubuike have a great second half. Kansas beat Chaminade. How about BYU shooting 65% against UCLA?
BYU was just such a beautiful team last night. I hope they can keep that going. It'll be a different level playing against Kansas. But the way that little TJ Hawes, Jake Toulson or Toulsberg, what was his name again?
Toulson.
Toulson.
Danny
Okay.
Ainge's nephew. Only talked about Toulson and Ainge
That was last night.
30 minutes. By the way, Michigan State.
They were so fun to watch. I was just high as could be from that game last night. Had a hard time coming down.
Moving on. Michigan State had 3 jumpers go down already with a foot on the line. Last year, those would have all been threes, remember, because they've moved the three-point arc out to the FIBA range. And I know you're a fan of it. You like it.
Yes, I do, but you're not going to complain. Throw it down
Edwards.
big time.
Nobody wanted to take the charge there. First field goal for Edwards, an emphatic one.
I can't believe you're talking about their foot on the line because they don't know where the line is. Look at the line. Some of us have 2 eyes, but still can't see.
You talking about me or you?
What was your name again?
Here, check out Anthony
Come
Edwards.
on, Ant-Man, let's go. Right here, crossover, no rotation whatsoever. Tom Izzo does not have his big lineup out there right now. I mean, come on, Tillman, Bingham, they would have sent that back.
And coming up shortly, we're going to visit with Mike Schmitz, the ESPN NBA draft analyst, who's going to talk about Edwards, and also Cassius Winston, and maybe where he fits in at the next level. There's Mike, going to join us in a little bit.
I've seen him before.
That's because he works for us. He's on TV.
No,
Here's
he's a sharp
Watts.
guy. I believe he and I have met before.
You probably have. He works for us. Brown misses, rebounded by Georgia. Here comes Wheeler.
One thing we've learned, we all work for you.
4-point lead for Michigan State.
Great
Edwards.
closeout defense.
And trying to save it there was Rodney Howard. Turnover, Georgia.
I love the pace that Cash Winston plays at. Did you see that game against Duke last year in the Elite Eight? Wow. Just indelible impression on my mind. Crossing the smoking crater.
Watts misses a 3. Michigan State 0 for 3 from out there.
Must have been the length of the three-point line. Trying to shuffle his feet. Please, it's a jump shot.
They're a combined 1 of 10 from three-point land.
Do you have a filter?
Fagan attacks.
Great defense. Kivier.
And
Throw
Watts
it down.
Oh, man.
It's Paul George, it's Giannis, it's Steph Curry, John Morant. Like, none of these guys were McDonald's All-Americans. And so I think Obi's another guy who's going to benefit from that. And he really fits well in today's game.
How much stock, Mike, do you put in the guy's coach and the program and the culture that he comes up in?
Hey, Anthony Grant's been phenomenal. And
that guy's a tremendous coach.
Yeah, you can tell.
And the guy, Mike Young, from Virginia Tech, what he did yesterday, that was fantastic.
And I think Nolly, you know, he's the guy who helped himself yesterday as well.
We got a couple Conference of Champions guys there.
Yeah.
Nico Mannion
Yeah.
and Jaden McDaniels. What do you think?
Yeah, Nico is a top 10 sleeper, I think. Like, he could be the best point guard in this draft, potentially, just because of his feel for the game.
He's got red hair, too.
And he's a Scottsdale kid, you know, Pinnacle High School. So you got to like that.
What about Zeke Naji?
Yeah, Zeke has really helped himself. He looks like a potential first-round pick. High motor, energetic, physical. There's a lot to like about him also.
What about the 2 new guys from USC?
Onyeka Okongwu.
Correct.
Yep, I think he's...
I'm still working on the pronunciation.
Yes, high-energy guy, can block a shot, bounce, he's worked on his body. He's got a lot of buzz.
How about Mike here? You've thrown him like so many curveballs in the last 5 minutes, and he's handled everyone flawlessly.
I'm trying.
Mike, we appreciate the time, man.
Thanks so much.
As always, look forward to seeing your board updated throughout the year.
Thank you very much.
How often do you update that board?
Every few weeks.
And
you know,
do you sign it? I mean, is this like an oath? Are you under oath when you do it?
Yes, under oath every time.
Good. How much basketball do you watch?
Pretty much nonstop.
Do you
have
any other interest in life?
I like to eat.
Besides,
like to travel,
besides your girlfriend?
Yeah, I like to walk on the beach here in Maui. You know,
nice.
Went in the water.
What's your favorite beach here?
Oh, man, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. The one in front of my hotel.
Have you been out in the canoe?
I've never been on a canoe.
Would you like to do the rest of the game with Bill?
Yes. I think we have a good chemistry here. Let's keep this rolling.
Have you been on the Maui gym boat?
I've never got the invite. Do you have an in there?
You have an open invitation.
Okay. There we go.
Ty Fagan with the basket. Mike, we appreciate it, man. Go do your job.
Thank you, guys.
We'll let you go.
Appreciate it.
Where do you go from here?
He left. He's gone. He's got to work. The headset's off. All right, 6-point lead for Michigan State. They got all
That's a traveling violation, please.
They got the score. They got the clock issue taken care of, as well as the net issue.
And we got the world squared away. Thank you, Mike. Look, he's got his beads on and everything.
He's like, boy, Bill Walton's as crazy as I thought he was.
Wait a second. What are you reading these days?
What am I reading?
Yes.
Well, right now I'm watching. I'm watching the game and trying to...
I said these days.
We're here for 3 days. That's what I'm doing.
It's a song. Jackson Brown. Cash Winston.
Winston knocks down the three, so Winston with
pull the lever,
7
Cash.
points.
Let's go.
Winston obviously dealing with a lot, Bill. His brother Zachary tragically passed away just a couple weeks ago. And it's been such a struggle for obvious reasons for Cassius, not just Cassius and the family, but the entire Michigan State team. You heard Tom Izzo, the head coach of Michigan State, say yesterday that, you know, during the game you could just tell that Cassius was a shell of himself. You get the feeling, given just how tragic that was and how close Zachary and Cassius were, that this is going to be something that Cassius will be struggling with throughout the year, as Xavier Tillman.
Throughout the year, the rest of his life. You never forget that kind of stuff. And fortunately, you know, he's got a great mentor, hero, teacher, coach in Tom Izzo. What Tom and Lupe will do for a young man like Cash Winston, be able to get him going again. And basically, you have to use this incredible platform of college basketball as your sanctuary.
Here's another three. This by Foster Lawyer, his second three-pointer of the year, and the lead is up to 12. You know, I thought it took a lot of strength when Cassius Winston grabbed the microphone in East Lansing recently at a home game and talked about how important the fans, the community has been to him in the grieving process. I just thought it was an incredible scene for the young man. As Michigan State gets another three.
It's all about helping family and the community that Tom Izzo has been able to build there in East Lansing. And he is basically the face of the university and the town. It's just incredible.
25 years for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Inducted in the Hall of Fame 3 years ago.
I was there for the speech. It was absolutely spectacular. You know, they never came back to Bingham here. The guy was playing superb.
Well, they do there.
There he is.
And a three-point opportunity. In college basketball than Cassius Winston, which makes navigating this awful tragedy such a difficult task for Cassius, Tom Izzo, and the rest of the Spartans all year.
Every team has to have that guy that makes it work. And he does it in so many different ways. And he's really an endangered species. You know, someone who does it without great athleticism. Doesn't have the big, broad shoulders in the weight room. He's got it in life. His ability to carry these guys and lift them up to inspire.
Wheeler with the jump shot. It's a 14-point lead for Michigan State.
I love Foster Lawyer. I love Jack Hoiberg and Steven Izzo. I'm hoping we're going to see Jack and Steven today. The way this score looks now, we have a great chance.
I'm sure Tom Crean appreciates that sentiment as Henry gets the basket inside.
He can do something about it.
Well, he's trying. I mean, it's not like they're not trying. Out of bounds. Yeah, look, for Georgia,
never mistake activity for achievement.
Look, Tom Crean's a terrific coach.
Yes,
this is going to be a tough. He's trying to rebuild. He's got 10 new bodies.
I'm a huge Tom Crean fan. I was there with him at Marquette. I was there with him at Indiana. And then he was sharing his thoughts with me the other day about his time spent on TV.
Yeah, I get to work with him a little bit. It was a nice reprieve from you. The thing that impressed me the most about working with Tom was he took it so seriously. He would take notes. He'd ask questions about television and broadcasting, and he'd sit there and he'd take notes because he wanted, even though he knew it was going to be a short stint because he wanted to get back into coaching as Gresham picks up the foul for Georgia. Peak rather, a second foul. Tom, he took so many notes because he said, he wanted to hit a home run. He wanted to take it as seriously as he would coaching.
He's a professional. Please. You seem surprised.
Well, look who I'm working with. I mean, you should take a page out of his broadcasting book by actually taking notes about basketball and broadcasting, not just on volcanoes and islands.
So there are 800 million people that live within 62 miles of a volcano on the planet Earth. So fortunately, with the use of artificial intelligence, we as a culture and society are getting a lot better at predicting when these eruptions might take place. And we're about to see an eruption right here. Oh, stick a fork in it, please.
Here's Lawyer.
Get the ball to Bingham. This is a cool player here.
Throw it down. Kyle Ahrens. Michigan State, after losing to Virginia Tech yesterday, the intensity level is 180-degree difference.
So you're saying they were not intense yesterday?
It was a lot different, that game against Virginia Tech. Tom Izzo said as much. 32-8 run, so it's not just me pointing that out.
Well, wait a second. You've already talked to Tom during this game?
Well, before the game.
Well, he hadn't seen how the intensity level was today.
But he saw it yesterday as he coached the game.
Cover yourself, please.
Oh, brother.
Do you have a blanket? Would you like one? Throw it down. Beautiful. The ball movement swinging to the weak side. This guy, Arns. Can somebody replace Matt McQuaid, who was such a key performer last year for the Spartans?
Another miss by Edwards from the perimeter. He is 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 for 3 from three-point range. How about Bingham?
He doesn't need to do that.
And a foul on the floor on Georgia. And if
they got plenty of guys that can shoot threes.
It's on Hammonds. It's 3. Nope, they're going to get Gumezi.
Marcus Bingham grew 9 inches during his first 3 years in high school. When he grows into his body, when he gets the fluidity and the coordination that comes with that huge growth spurt, from swimming, riding his bike, getting in that weight room. I love the weight room. I want you in the weight room.
I've been in your weight room, in your whatever that thing is called, next to the teepee out back at your house in San Diego.
It's called a weight room.
There's a lot more in there than weights.
We've got a lot going on.
And Gumezi, long three.
Beautiful play.
Georgia, 1 of 9 from three-point range.
Aaron Henry. This is the kind of team when everybody has to play well. No, Marcus Bingham is the biggest guy on the court by 5 inches. Why is he shooting fadeaways? Send it back, Marcus.
Crump will go to the line for 2. That is just the 3rd team foul on Michigan State. Tomorrow it's the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlanta, starting with Michigan taking on Iowa State, North Carolina and Alabama, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, and Oregon. Michigan State, that's its best win this year, beating Seton Hall.
Seton Hall's good.
Yeah, so are the Ducks. That'll be a good game. A lot of good games.
So Bad Boy Mowers.
Bad Boy Mowers.
I think we should call ourselves the good guy sweepers and brooms. We're trying to eliminate all the fossil fuel stuff, right? Oahu and Maui, they have sued the fossil fuel companies. Did your parents teach you anything when you were growing up? Did they teach you to clean up after yourself?
Meanwhile, I'm looking at your workspace, and think we need to hire an entire company to come and clean this up.
The bad boy mowers
here. Can we please get a shot of your workspace? And just the whole world can see what
this is called Organization Plus.
Cassius Winston looks like a different player today than we saw yesterday.
We've got it all right here. We're alive. We're in Maui. We had our morning swim.
At least you don't have the monitor covered up today. You had all those flashcards in front of it yesterday with my face all over it.
I just tried to refresh your memory.
Hammonds misses inside. Michigan State by 21.
My name's Bill. What's yours? Besides being oblivious. Here you are running from the volcano, exploding. And you love coal. And now you've got the evolution of Dave. We've got 4 flashcards for you. Cash.
Out on the 3 by Winston. Rebounded by Hammonds. What does Georgia need to do here to fight back into this game? Well, that'll help, the 3. But what else do you want to see?
I want to see a little bit more organization and discipline, because this Georgia team, they've got a lot of physical talent. But it's a young group. Tom Crean, he's always been one of those guys that keeps some sort of structure while relying on the natural gifts that they have. But right now we're seeing just greater skill, greater purpose, greater focus, and greater organization for this fantastic top 5 program in the game today, year in and year out. And you've got a Hall of Fame coach on one side, and the other guy is working his way toward them.
Hammond's jumper is good. He's a talented kid, junior from Norcross, averaging 15 points, 10 rebounds per game.
So what you're always looking for is style, identity, and culture. And the skill level, the physical fitness level, but the runners in the lane. I mean, that is just a thing of beauty.
And you heard what Mike Schmidt said, that every NBA team wants a player like Cassius Winston because he's a winner, and he makes everybody better.
Is Mike the first guy that said that?
No, but we had him on, so I just wanted to repeat to let the fans know that what ESPN NBA draft analyst had to say when he joined us.
Okay.
20 years that Tom has led Michigan State to the Final Four. The rest of the Big Ten has 10. He's got 8 Final Four appearances and the 1 national championship back in 2000.
I was there. I was down in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota area. Fantastic.
You remember Mateen Cleaves?
I do. I called the game for international. I forget what language we called it in. Wow.
3 goes for Tyreek Crump. And Crump last year had 64 threes. He did not score yesterday, but has 7 points in this game. 2 threes.
He makes 5.
Wow,
throw it
how
down.
about that? Malik Hall.
That's a technical foul. You can't do that, please. So you got all these young guys. Malik Hall, freshman. Julius Marble, freshman. Gabe Brown, sophomore here.
Look at Tom Izzo here.
So what are you doing? We're winning the game. 19 points, and you're getting a technical foul? Please. Tell them to look at the scoreboard. Boom. Throw it down one time.
Hall is a talent, man. Freshman from Aurora, Illinois.
Now, that's one thing that's not an endangered species.
So at the free throw line is Hammonds to shoot the technicals.
Fortunately, we have the San Diego Zoo Global Division here on the western slope of Maui with their endangered Hawaiian bird and breeding research facility. 4,000 feet up in the rain. They took an old prison, and they're bringing all the birds back. Habitat loss, degradation, diseases brought in, drought. You notice how dry it was? Oh, that's right, you haven't ever been here before. That's why we gave you this map. Have you been studying the map?
No, I've been studying the games. I don't appreciate the speedo that you put me in here in this flashcard that you made up. I think Tom Izzo wanted some clarification from recruit chief Vern Harris, the referee, about what exactly his player Malik Hall did. But clearly Hall was taunting Georgia. Here's Hall with a rebound. Hall didn't play a whole lot yesterday because of foul trouble.
Tease him, Cash. Oh, that's Dick Barnett. Fall back, baby. Fall
13
back.
points now for Winston. And take a look again here at the
throw
taunt.
it down. It doesn't matter what you say. You basically can't just look at the guy like that. Just grow up.
Been trying to
can I say
get that message to you. I hadn't gotten through here in 7 years.
Grow up.
Maybe I need to get Izzo over here to have a talk with you.
I had a great time with Tom the other day at practice. Where were you, sir?
That's not what he told me.
Between Jack Hoiberg and Stephen Izzo and Tom, oh, man. We want to see Jack and Stephen out here, please.
It's the first half. Let's see if Georgia makes a comeback. Howard is fouled. You keep throwing Tom Crean under the bus here, saying you want to see the walk-ons for Michigan State, and it's the first half.
It's because of who the walk-ons are.
I know. I'm messing with you.
Please.
Coming up, the E-Trade halftime report. Ohio State flying high. All access North Carolina. Stats and highlights from this game. A lot of great college basketball games going on. Also NBA action.
Is that Ohio State? Is that a football or a basketball story?
It's a basketball story.
Because they're good at football, right?
It's a college basketball halftime report, but you're right. In fact, the new rankings come out tonight on ESPN. We'll see if LSU stays number 1 or Ohio State jumps them.
What does Mike say about that?
What do you say?
The
rankings should be number 1.
I only do baseball and NBA and college basketball. There's Mike. What does he say?
Yeah, I don't think he's really paying attention to the college football playoff rankings.
I watched the LSU takedown of Alabama.
I thought you didn't watch.
I watched that
TV.
one.
Okay. Marble was fouled by Kamara. I just saw LSU on Saturday. And
really? Are they good?
Joe Burrow's going to win the Heisman. I mean, you saw
Who's Joe Burrow?
You just said you watched the LSU Alabama game. He's the quarterback for LSU. You must not
know
know
what his name is. What's your name? It was a heck of a game. I know that. And that quarterback was really good.
Yeah, that's him. That's Joe Burrow.
I mean, that's the way Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Jim Plunkett.
Did you watch Lamar Jackson last night for the Ravens?
No, we were on the air.
He might win
get off the air.
He might win the MVP. His coach, John Harbaugh, is the brother-in-law of Tom Crean. You know that, right?
Yes, I do know the Harbaughs and the Creans are related.
Yep.
Sort of like how Toulson and Danny Ainge are related, right?
Well, not really. I mean, Tom...
well, they're related.
Yes, they're related.
Okay.
But,
that's about as far as we can go. Send it back.
1 minute to go here in the first half. 19-point Michigan State lead. You're getting me off track again.
Julius Marble. I mean, that's basically Michelangelo and the David.
Crump off on the 3.
Or the La Pietà.
Good save, though. Here's Wheeler now in the paint. Didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock is at 3.
Anthony Edwards, he knows how to get it up.
Edwards continues to struggle here in Maui. 1 for 8 today. Yesterday, Edwards was 2 for 10. Wheeler still can't put it in.
Look at these Spartans fight. You ever been to Sparta?
I've been to East Lansing.
Powerhouse.
So Rocket Watts at the free throw line, freshman from Detroit. Watts just hit the first free throw. It was the 19th foul on Georgia.
As good as Michigan State is, they're not in the same class in terms of history and identity. It's the big 3 right now. Maybe we can throw North Carolina in there to join Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas. But those schools in today's basketball, their seasons are defined by games they lose, not by games they win. And when Michigan State beat Duke last year, I thought they had that championship. But then they go to the Final Four. I forget what city it was in, but
they lost to Texas Tech.
Right, with Matt. No, they lost to Matt Mooney. Matt Mooney, who was just an incredible player for the Red Raiders. Chris Beard.
1 second difference in the clocks here at the end of the first half. A lot of contact on the drive by Gresham. And he will go to the line.
That's a foul.
You think?
Yeah.
Gresham at the line for Georgia, 88% free throw shooter. Marble picked up the foul. Now Georgia's got 10 new players on the roster, and they've got a great recruiting class. 4 top 100 ESPN players.
How about the fact that this school, the first time they ever made the NCAA tournament, Georgia, they went to the Final Four. Hugh Durham was the coach in 1983, the year after Dominique left. I mean, that's the Oscar Robertson story. First time in the tournament, they get to the Final Four. The Final Four won by North Carolina State. Oh, man. 1 rebound for Akeem, and he would have had that college championship.
5 seconds to go here in the first half.
Whoa, great ball movement.
Hall hangs and scores, and that ends the first.
In the boat cash, he's driving the train. all the way. Faster. Weaky. What a player.
This after being in foul trouble yesterday, not playing much in the first half, finished with 7 points yesterday. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards, who struggled against Dayton, has again struggled today. He is, in this tournament, 3 for 18 and 0 for 8 from 3. And you're talking about the potential number 1 or number 2 pick in the NBA draft.
Is that what you're calling?
Well, no, we had Mike Schmitz on, remember? That was 30 minutes ago, and he had him number 2 on his draft board right now.
I'm old enough to remember when you called and you predicted and you drove the train for Markelle Fultz.
I didn't predict it.
Yes, you did.
I just said that Markelle Fultz was
Tracy Murray, the Bruins are here. Fantastic.
Yeah, all I said about Markelle Fultz was that he was going to be the number 1 pick. Was I right?
You're always right.
About time we came to that conclusion. Gresham at the free throw line. But it'll be interesting to see how Edwards responds. One of the things that Tom Crean wanted to challenge him with today was defensively guarding Cassius Winston. And that's what he did in the first half. We'll see if he...
he's only a freshman. How old is he? 18?
He's 18. He's gonna guard Aaron Henry now.
Give the guy a chance. He's got tons of talent.
Absolutely. Just
finding his way. This Georgia team lost 10 key performers from last year's team. He's just out of high school. What a runner.
Tough shot. That's another terrific freshman, Rocket Watts.
He's got a calf injury, sat out most of practice over the weekend, but looking real fine on that runner. But nobody was hitting the runners like little TJ Hawes last night. That was just such a beautiful performance. Couldn't be happier for the Cougars. That was just spectacular basketball.
So BYU plays Kansas tonight. Do you see a potential upset there?
They're going to play the game. That's a traveling violation on the dribble. Wow.
Basket by Tillman. Winston with the assist. Winston last year set the Big Ten record, almost 300 assists, and here he goes again. So you do see a potential upset. You think Kansas could be in for a fight? BYU is tough.
It's a basketball game. Anything could happen. Kansas is a phenomenal team. But that's the dribbling violation right there.
Oh, no, that was pretty incredible.
But if you don't call that dribbling violation in the backcourt.
Winston misses it. So you said anything's possible yet. If I ask you about the UCLA Chaminade game, I asked you last night what UCLA has to do, and you said show up. So it goes against what you just told me about that everybody has a chance to win any game.
Well, look, they've shown up because Tracy Murray and Josh Lewin are here, the radio team for UCLA. But you're talking a different level. I mean, Kansas is a phenomenal program and current team. Chaminade, they're a D2 school.
Watch this here. Now, you said this was a violation, but it wasn't because he passed it right away. Great play by Cassius Winston, who is so much fun to watch. The only consensus preseason All-American. And he was a first-teamer last year and the most outstanding player at the East Regional. They beat Duke, knocked him off in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. And Gumezi picks up the Georgia foul. That is his second. And that relationship with Tom Izzo and Cassius Winston. And Bill, obviously you were close with your coaches, and I know you appreciate when you see a coach like Tom Izzo and Tom Crean that are so invested in developing those relationships, being mentors to their players, not just basketball mentors, but helping them grow into young men.
What does a coach do? He makes you better at what you do and who you are. And that is the definition of Tom Izzo. And he's got his son on the team here. And I'm just hoping that little Steven with a V gets in there.
Bingham with the huge rejection. And then Watts a little bit out of control. Traveling violation.
So how about practicing the team fast break with no defense so that you get some spacing out there? Bingham, who did not start the first game, they lost that one. That's keeping it in play. Basketball is a very violent game until you come in contact with the ball. Then it's just kind and soft and gentle. And Bingham just moving beautifully toward that rebound.
Another miss for Edwards. He is 0 for 9 in this tournament from three-point range. Just 4 points today, 1 for 9 from the floor. And he's turned the ball over 4 times.
Why so negative?
I'm just reading the stats.
Georgia picked 9th in the ever tough SEC this year. You old enough to remember when the SEC was Kentucky and the other dwarfs?
I don't know if that's the terminology I would use, but the SEC is much better.
They're really good. LSU, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama.
Cassius Winston, another incredible move. But man, he is playing fabulous basketball here today.
Auburn should have won the championship a year ago. Oh, my goodness.
Unforced error there by Georgia. Winston now has 15 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals for Michigan State.
So I think that Tom Crean might want to put in a couple of his assistant coaches out there. They got a guy, John Linehan, who played at Providence. He was the National Defensive Player of the Year in '02. Just a spectacular guy. National steals leader. They also got James Cambrone. Oh, my God. He was the best player in practice over the weekend, and he was the coach. He was schooling them. Did you ever see the Globetrotters play?
Here's Henry for 3. No good. Rebounded by Edwards.
Push the ball here. How many free throw attempts for Edwards?
2 for 2. He's got to find a way to attack more. It's something Tom Crean wants to see from him.
Man.
And that's going to come in time, is developing that mentality to attack offensively as Wheeler commits the foul his second.
Well, so you who live in the world of fantasy sports, where it's all about stats, where you think that if a guy has good stats, he plays well.
So do you think Edwards has played well today?
No, I do not.
Okay, well,
I'm looking for impact. Impact is what we've seen from Cash Winston.
Absolutely. And there he is again. That's 2.
That's in your face.
No, yeah, I said he's playing fabulous basketball in the previous possession. The lead is up to 28 now for the Spartans.
What time does Chaminade start?
30 minutes after this game is done.
Whoa.
You okay?
I thought I saw a whale again. But I just saw Xavier Tillman there. And the little guy is going with his offhand there. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. Look at that.
I don't think in the Bill Shulman broadcast they have whales jumping on the screen.
That's what I see all the time.
Well, now I'm seeing it, so apparently we're sharing brains.
Look at Tillman.
Here's Watts. It's
down,
Tillman. Missed the jam. Georgia in transition. Can they get a fast break basket? They do with Edwards, just his second field goal. That was good execution in the fast break. And Tillman fouled on the...
There was a flower ceremony, and then a helicopter emerged from behind the trees and then flew over the bay and then out to sea. Wow. We miss you, Bill. We love you. As great a human being as there has ever been. I had called Bill when I heard what condition he was in. I invited him to come stay with us in San Diego. He couldn't make it, and I couldn't get here. I'm sorry, Bill. Thanks for your life, which has given me mine. We love you.
Michigan State 62, Georgia 36. Don't forget, coming up next, we've got UCLA and Chaminade, and then tonight on ESPN, Dayton, Virginia Tech, as Edwards hits a 3, so 2 straight field goals and his first triple of this tournament. Also, Kansas taking on BYU tonight on ESPN.
An excellent,
and Jay Billis will have the call.
An excellent Final Four here at the Maui Gym 2019. Those two coaches in the bottom part of the bracket there, the 2-3 bracket. Wow. Anthony Grant and Mike Young. Unsung at the national, international, intergalactic level, but the job they do, and their teams are playing terrific balls.
Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards has made 3 consecutive shots. You're starting to see that skill set.
So are you calling him number 1, like Markelle Fultz now?
He's got the last 7 points. Georgia. Henry gets it blocked
as they cut it to 21. Impact.
He's still playing hard, though. That's
well, I hope so. It is a game. It is on ESPN. And that's a big-time play right there. If he does 5 of those to start the game, get to the free throw line a bunch, get some rebounds, shut down Cash Winston from the opening tip.
He's still got a lot of time left. Here's Edwards for three.
So you're calling the comeback here for the Bulldogs?
I just said we have a lot of time left.
What sound does a Spartan make?
I'm sure you'll come up with one by the end of the tournament.
Have you ever spent a night inside a Trojan horse?
Not sure how to answer that. I think I just won't.
Oh,
what a shot by Wheeler as he was falling down, the freshman from Houston, originally committed to Texas A&M.
One of the coolest things about the Maui Gym is the people who come out for it. Right now, they make 6 more threes on their next 6 possessions. We got a ball game. But with Dr. Michael Longacre here from Michigan State, he was on Magic and Jay Vincent's and Greg Kelser's championship team with Judd Heathcote in '79. He chose a different career than the NBA.
Good defense by Georgia. Wheeler and Edwards with a terrific pass. So they were down 28 and they've got it to 17 with a ton of time to play.
What a turnaround here. That's what's great about basketball. Anything could happen.
9 straight points.
Zone defense here by the Bulldogs.
Shot clock down to 6. Hall with 4 to shoot. In and out, and it's Georgia ball after the rebound by Kamara. Here's Edwards.
I've got Georgia on my mind here.
And that's exactly what Tom Crean was talking about before the game, Bill, is Edwards attacking offensively. He's really trying to drive that home because he can get to the foul line anytime he wants.
You've got to get your story straight. All I ever hear from you is about defense and three-point percentage. It's about creativity and finishing on offense. Did you happen to see the Virginia championship team from a year ago? Did you happen to see Matt Mooney in his play for Texas Tech? Did you happen to see the Toronto Raptors at the NBA level? Offense, please.
What do you think about Edwards at the next level? What kind of an NBA player will he be?
Are we talking about the first half or the second half of this game tonight? That's the first time I've ever seen him play.
Well, he's got his team back within 15.
He's got a fantastic body. Now we have to see him take that highlight package, and every play of every game has to be like that, and then he'll be up there with Dominique Wilkins in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Georgia's turned up the intensity on defense, but they leave Brown in the corner. Gabe Brown, who's a really good three-point shooter, up 40%, knocks that one down. Here's Edwards trying to answer off the dribble. He's heating up. He's got 16 now.
Heating up. He's going to get his own poster pretty soon. The evolution of Dave.
Hall, boy, he may have pushed off of that off arm. No call. Out of bounds off of Georgia. So Edwards is got 12 of the last 16 points for Georgia.
The step back jumper.
That was to you. He said, in your face, Walt.
That's fine.
I heard what you said about me. I heard you called me Markelle Fultz.
Markelle Fultz, the #1 draft pick in the NBA.
That's not exactly what you said. Georgia ball after Michigan State with an empty possession.
Look, I believe it's free speech. You can say whatever you want. Oh, my gosh.
The Georgia crowd look at Edwards calling. He called off one screen. Now he's going to take a deep three. That's in your face again, Walt.
That's why we love college basketball. That's why we love the Maui Gym. Anything could happen.
Look at him nodding his head. Yep, like I got it going, Bill. I got it going. You can't even stop me over there, Walt. He's got 15 here in the second half. It's a 12-point
pass
game
by Tillman. What this young man has been able to do. This is the story of life. You stink it up yesterday, you come back. You start out miserably, and then all of a sudden you're on fire, and the world is yours one more time. You ever been to Georgia?
Mike Schmitz has Anthony Edwards #2 on his draft board. Brown short on the 3, and Georgia can maybe get it to single digits. Michigan State is just 1 for its last 8 from the floor. Here's Edwards trying to get some airspace. Lost the ball, but Georgia keeps possession.
Aaron Henry, the unenviable task right now. He's capable of it.
Wheeler drills a three. It's a 9-point game. They were down 28 about 5 minutes ago.
Now where's the competitive response from Cash Winston? But with the Bulldogs extending their defensive pressure, throw it down.
Tillman fouled on the drive. It was 61-33 at the 16:22 mark.
And so you called it over.
In just over 5 minutes.
You were looking forward to Chaminade. Georgia, the oldest chartered public university in the entire United States. Started what year? 1785. What year did Captain Cook show up here on his boat? Look at your evolution of Dave map. It's right there on the top sail.
1778.
Hey, all right, you can read.
Tillman hits the second free throw. Back to an 11-point game. Tough shot inside that wouldn't fall from Howard.
How can Michigan State, as good as tough as they are, how can they give up a layup on one side and the defensive rebound on the other side on the same possession? Tom Izzo just pulling his hair out.
Trying to get Edwards the ball is being well defended right now by Henry. So they go inside to Wheeler. And I don't know if he lost
Tom
it.
Crean cannot believe that's not a foul call.
Henry. Winston an open look. Cans a three. And Winston up to 20 points now.
Smooth, effortless, graceful, dignity, class, you name it. Cash has got it. A questionable non-call leads to a fast break opportunity for the Spartans, and Henry wisely finds the senior leader there, Cash Winston. Don't try to shoot it there in that guy's face.
Meanwhile, Rayshawn Hammond's hobbling to the Georgia bench. Their best rebounder. So good response by Cassius Winston and the Spartans. Tillman got tripped up. Edwards with the block. He's made a couple of good defensive plays. Edwards here in the second half. And he's trying to attack and create some space with Winston defending, and Winston picks up the foul.
What was he doing? Running backwards? Foul. Can only hope that Rayshawn Hammond, his big-time scorer, is able to get back in this. Whoa, he just rolls that left ankle.
Edwards turnaround jumper. Wow.
Do these guys wear high tops or get their ankles taped?
Brown can't get the three. Edwards the rebound.
Push the ball. Come on.
He's going to pull up and take a three and hit it. It is the Anthony Edwards show.
Oh, John Linehan over there on the bench there. Just ecstatic with this turn of events. What a game.
He's got 20 points in 10 minutes after 10 points in the first three halves of this tournament.
I think that guy Mike spoke to him at halftime.
You were dogging him earlier, and he keeps looking over here every time he hits a shot to see if you're watching and paying attention. He says, I know you're a Hall of Famer, Walt, but your talent evaluation skills leave something to be desired. That is a shot clock violation.
A shot clock?
Yes, shot clock violation, no basket.
Okay, you got a 1-on-0 fast break that the defense hustles back. That is after the isolation play right here. It just turns right around. That's Mitch Richmond right there. Then in transition, he's got an opportunity to get all the way to the hoop and throw one down. He just says, forget about it. I'm shooting a three.
He gives it up here, and Christian Brown misfires on the three. Rebounded by Gabe Brown of Michigan State.
Why isn't the Ant-Man shooting every time?
Well, that was good defense by Michigan State, don't you think? Force him to give that up. Winston, they work it around to Henry.
Good quick move there by Tillman.
Can't get the bounce, knocked out of bounds. Michigan State ball.
This crowd is fired up. We love the Maui Gym. Thank you, Dave and Lynn Odom. Dave's 77 years young now. He's having the time of his life running this magnificent tournament.
Former coach at Wake Forest, with Tim Duncan's coach there, also coached at South Carolina. 8.5 to play here. Michigan State leads by 9. Winston penetrates. Leaves it for Bingham at the slam.
Throw it down, Marcus. I love watching Cash Winston play. On fire.
He's got 5 assists, 2 steals, and 20 points. Edwards calling for the ball.
They're ahead, too.
Edwards hasn't even touched it yet. Now he does. Catch and shoot. Off the heel. Offensive rebound, though. Edwards backs it out. Look at Tom Creed again on the court, standing right next to him. He's within the coach's box, though. Edwards! No good. Gresham is fouled on the analyst, who's still recovering from his segment with us. He has Anthony Edwards listed as a number 2 NBA draft prospect.
Who's number 1?
James Wiseman. Remember, we talked to Mike about that. That was an hour ago. Let's refresh your memory, okay? I want us to show you the board that he has again.
Sure, let's see this board.
Okay, so
Wiseman,
Greg
Edwards, he's in this game. Cole Anthony, right, North Carolina. Nico from Arizona. Maxey, is that from Kentucky? Okay.
Yes, that's Kentucky's logo.
And then McDaniels, we're going to see him in the Conference of Champions all year long. Obi, we're going to see him in the next game, right?
That's tonight. That'll be Dan Schumann and Jake Billis on the call of Dayton, Virginia Tech. Michigan State ball, 9-point lead.
Beautiful attack
jumper
there.
And good defense by Georgia. Let's see. Yep, they're going to call it on Tillman. That's 4 on Xavier Tillman.
Wasn't that Anthony Edwards with the block?
He's really upped his intensity on the defensive end, and that seemed to have sparked his offensive game. His second block, and he's got 3 steals.
Edwards comes right here, just touches it enough. His teammate gets right in there, and easy play to call.
You're warming up to him now. It took you a while.
Wait a second. What was his line in the first half?
He was 1 for 8. 4 points.
And so you want me to jump all over him being great in a 1 for 8 first half? Okay, now I got it.
Wheeler for 3, no good. He didn't even touch it on that possession. But Wheeler did hit one from that spot earlier. Here's Watson transition. And wow, again Edwards with the block. And he stays in bounds, brings it up the floor. Hangs in the air. He tried to finish with the left hand, and he's fouled.
He just kept coming right at the shot blocker, Marcus Bingham, who's had a huge impact on this game. But right now, it's all Anthony Edwards who is showing the complete package. This ball gets rejected. He's had 2 blocks on the last 2 possessions for the Spartans. Keeps it in play himself. But the way he's coming at Bingham, and what Bingham needs to do in this situation is to make a stand at the free throw line. The ball is, he gets the ball himself. He tight ropes on the sideline, and it just keeps coming. And all that footwork, you keep throwing 1,000 moves at the defender. One of them will finally work. And with Bingham mistakenly backing up, Anthony Edwards just too good.
And he's making his free throws. He's 6 of 6. Georgia within 7. You always talk about blocking a shot to keep it in play. He did that beautifully with the left hand.
2 times in a row.
He's got 3 steals, 3 blocks, 25 points, maybe got 26 points to go along with 6 rebounds.
I'm a believer.
Took you long enough. And another turnover by Michigan State.
It's the first time I've ever seen him play.
Here's Edwards in transition. Gets off a 3. Buries it. He can't miss. Look at this performance. 29. 25 in the second half, and Georgia's within 4.
I'm going to have to put on another pair of Maui gyms just to protect myself from Anthony Edwards' rays. That was a heat check. And the net didn't even move.
Hall for the answer. Got it. Big shot by Malik Hall.
Okay, now just get out of his way. If you're Michigan State, double team him every time he touches the ball. Right there. Don't wait for him to get into shooting range. Just run a guy at him. The rest of the Bulldogs are whimpering.
Trying Trying to create a driving lane.
There you go.
Now Edwards. Ball is deflected. Edwards has 24 points during that span.
But what he's really had is impact. I mean, he's brought him back from, how many were they down?
It was 61-33 with 16:22 to go.
That's 28 points, right?
Good math.
My specialty.
Here's Hammonds, and he hits a three. Rayshawn Hammonds gets Georgia within 4. 5 minutes to go.
What kind of injury did he have earlier on?
Well, we don't know for sure. We don't want to speculate, but
that'll be the first.
He was hobbling off the court. Turnover.
Push the ball,
Georgia.
Anthony. Push the ball.
Edwards. Great pass ahead to Hammonds. What a look by Edwards. He says, well, put on your sunglasses so you can see what I'm doing on here.
I've got them on. I'm in Maui with Maui Jim, with Maui Walter, and the spirit of Maui Bill Haywood.
Rattling down a three, Aaron Henry, who's hit several big shots the first 2 days of this tournament. He's got 14 points.
Why do they wait so long to play like this?
Edwards gives it up. Hammonds, not that time. And Brown.
Look at Red.
Out of bounds off of Gresham.
Red Gresham just playing fantastic. His effort, his determination. This is through how many guys? There's 4 guys this ball goes through.
Wow.
That is Pete Maravich. He does not need Maui Jims. This guy sees things that aren't there.
Hard to tell if that's directed towards the Michigan State bench or towards the Georgia crowd. Usually he just looks over at you and stares you down. He's spreading the love now. Here's Cassius Winston trying to gain control of this game again. He was the guy that was in complete command of that first half for Michigan State.
How can you
go to the line here?
How can you bail him out like that?
Wheeler just picked up his 4th foul. Remember, Tillman has 4 fouls for Michigan State.
Love those Tommy Bahamas shirts there. And I love the fact that Tommy Bahamas got the collegiate apparel line with all the schools right here. I was down at Whalers Village late last night.
You were?
Yeah. Trying to get in.
Get in where?
Into the Tommy Bahamas shop down there.
We didn't get off the air till 10 o'clock.
That's where I was trying to get in.
You're trying to break in, is what you're saying.
I needed some new stuff.
This is a good look here. You get this is kind of like the evil look here. This is the good guy look, the blue. Do you agree?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Here's Edwards, who's drawing Malik Hall. Team down 7. They've been as close as 2. Edwards, step back 3. Buries another one. He's got 32 and 28 in the second half. What a performance.
This is rivaling the Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen shootout that we had outside.
There have been a lot of great performances in the history of this tournament, but this second half is one for the ages for Anthony Edwards. They're going to call Warrior logo. They got a chance to get Anthony Edwards. It's obviously with all the injuries there, it's going to be a rough season for the Warriors. They'll have a high draft pick, you would think, and Anthony Edwards is going to go near the top of the draft. And then the Warriors are going to get healthy next year.
You don't think he's going to stay in school?
Edwards missed that time.
How do you know?
Wild guess. Are you reporting that he's coming back?
I just want him to do what he wants and to have the best life he can possibly have.
Probably to go make millions next year. That'd be my guess. Here's Tillman. Buries a huge 3. Michigan State continues here. When Georgia makes a push, gets a little bit closer, they hit 3 in a row down the stretch here.
Poise, confidence, competitive greatness, leadership on the floor, cash, penetration, and dish.
7 assists for out of bounds to Michigan State.
Spread the floor offensively for the Spartans. And then, right at the correct moment, open up the doors of the Trojan horse and let it fly. Arrows, spears, and Cash Winston.
Sure, that's exactly what Tillman was thinking there as he shot that ball.
Have you ever stood in the ramparts where the shield is all you have for protection and the arrows come raining in?
Figuratively, yes, working with you.
Over the top, throw it down.
Winston's pass a little off the mark, but Hall able to collect and put it in, and the lead is back up to 9 now for Michigan State at the 2-minute mark.
Where's the competitive response? Anthony Edwards right now. There's no time to lose. And he's standing next to the coach in the corner. Please.
Nice pass inside.
Wow.
And the basket by Kamara. So good competitive response, but is it too late? Down 7, a minute 40.
Xavier Wheeler, what a play. The littlest guy in the court.
Here's
5'10". Playing like a true giant. This is what I love, though.
Cassius Winston makes it look so easy.
Somebody might want to tell the Bulldogs that Cassius Winston is right-handed and will continue to be so throughout this game.
And I assume tomorrow as well. 5 straight made baskets by Michigan
Wheeler,
State.
nice. Whoa. There's the toughness of the Spartans right here. Oh, please.
But a turnover. Edwards in the lane. And a foul. So Edwards is 6 of 6 at the free throw line.
How many times have you seen Anthony Edwards play?
Well, I've watched him on TV, and this is now the second time that I've seen him in person.
When was the first?
Yesterday, but I watched him on TV. See, they have this network called ESPN, and they have college basketball games all the time.
3,000 of them this year.
They also have highlights in case you don't get to catch games, and that's why I asked you earlier what you thought of him. And
Do you count watching SportsCenter as research?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You don't?
Have you noticed that most of the shots go in on SportsCenter?
That's okay, though. You have a limited amount of time to show what happened in a game. You're not going to show just a random miss. It's not going to make the highlights. Speaking of SportsCenter, 6 Eastern tonight after PTI with Sage and Keith. Herbie's going to join the show. That's Kirk Herbstreit to you. He's going to talk about the scenarios ahead of college football playoff ranking. But he didn't. So let's focus on the positive here.
What was Pete Maravich's career average?
You keep telling me
for 3 games.
We're
for
in
3
Maui
years.
to be positive, and you're tearing this guy down. And he's having such a great second half. Enjoy it. You're seeing a performance of a lifetime here at Maui.
I think you gamble on fantasy sports. That's what I think.
That's off the foot of Edwards, but they call him for a foul anyway. 17 fouls, so it'll be a 1-and-1.
All right, my favorite part. Yeah, the Bruins are here. There will be a game. Chaminade, UCLA, coming up. 5 p.m. ET. That's a movie in the Disney package, right, on Disney Plus.
It also means Eastern time, and that is noon local, which is at about 20 minutes, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit after that.
I thought it was EST.
That's Eastern Standard Time.
Right. I thought ET was a character.
Not have this discussion right now, please. So
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, I thought.
Winston at the free throw line now. He's got 25.
That Bob Iger just bought all that stuff. And now it's on Disney Plus.
You haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, have you? You've got Disney Plus. You have nothing to do the rest of the day.
That's not true.
So go back and watch. Get caught up on Mandalorian, would you?
Mandalorian. Is that an instrument? Is that a car? It's beautiful.
Edwards has 37-33 in the second half. And Georgia's not done yet.
Yes.
Michigan State breaks the pressure. They got a foul here to try to extend the game, and they do. Be a 1-and-1. But Anthony Edwards has got 7 3-pointers. He had I mean, look how far back he is.
Here he's running away from the basket. He's on the volleyball line. Wow.
The record for points is 43 by Adam Morrison against Michigan State back in 2005. I don't know that Edwards is going to get there, but it's been a great half, and he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Let's see if they can get Wheeler going here, driving at Winston, and Wheeler scores. It's a 4-point game.
Cash Winston pushed the ball. Don't keep it.
And they foul him.
Man, it's not a foul. Please.
Winston, an 80% free throw shooter, and 4 for 4. It's the 19th foul, so it'll be another 1-and-1 here for Michigan State. Are you going to have any energy left for game 2?
I'm going to go outside. I'm going to stand in the sunshine, soak up some of that solar energy here. I'm trying to become a human solar panel. Hawaii, the first state in our union to go to 100% renewables, the commitment to get there, and all the big solar panels that they put up behind Lahaina Luna High School just up the hill. All the windmills they got on the Pali Ridge on the way to the airport from here.
Big free throws by Winston, gets both of them. The lead is back to 6. They got to hurry here.
The Grand Circle route. The double Grand Circle route.
Edwards step back three.
No.
Rebound Tillman. Well, he had to put it up with the down 6. Had to get something quickly. He's made that 7 times already.
I wanted it to go in. I want overtime. I want more Anthony Edwards. Were you here at the beginning of the game?
I don't remember.
That's why I'm reminding you that I did mention that ants are capable of carrying 50 times their own body weight.
Look at your screen. That's something there. It's a promo. There's 2 games tonight on ESPN. Dayton, Virginia Tech, Kansas, BYU to follow.
I know that.
Jay Billis, Dan Shulman. They will have the call. Dan is the play-by-play guy. Jay, not Jake. Jay is the analyst.
Jake is drawing up new signs. All I want for Thanksgiving is to meet Jake Bilas.
UCLA waiting to play Chaminade. Michigan State hitting its free throws down the stretch.
It's amazing how quickly they get the turnaround here at the Maui gym. Beautiful defensive play by the entire squad.
And that's going to do it, but great effort by Georgia to get back in the game down 28. Great win for Michigan State, though, after losing yesterday to Virginia Tech.
How about an interview with Anthony Edwards over here, man? Let's get him. See my wedding pictures look like.